theoretically productivity growth equals growth, GDP growth and employment growth. In practice, it actually leads to less employment. And in particular, the concern was youth unemployment and where are the jobs for our young people going to come from.
So what are the kind of jobs that are going to be eliminated in this new digital future?
Well, that's the point, I guess, that unlike previous kind of industrial revolutions, this one affects all kinds of jobs. It's not just physical labour, it's not just manufacturing process workers, it's not just labourers, it's kind of everyone. And I've provided the example of journalism where computers are now churning out automatic stories.
So it's amazing, right? Because you think it's all these jobs that everyone thinks, oh, I'm totally safe because no one can do my job. And then there's this whole reams of people who are going around saying, oh, that's quite a process-driven job. We can replace you quite easily.
That's right. And so, but there are genuine human things that can't be replaced. And the other thing that was identified at Heyman is that there is a big difference now opening up in terms of the value created by people with talent who can't be replaced by computers or robots, and those who are process-driven people. And and it's not just whether you got the job. Even if you get a job as a journalist, for example, you don't get paid much. And so there's a big inequality being created between talent and work.
This is a very Piketty type future, right, where there's sort of the 1% getting richer and richer because they own the capital that can help pay for these digitally replaced jobs effectively.
Right, but it's not just the capital that are the winners, which is true, and Thomas Piketty's kind of demonstrated that. It's the talent. It's talent and capital are the winners. It's the lack of talent and that are the losers, really, and the lack of capital.
Now, one of those sessions that I went to as well about disruption was looking at digital disruption and the banks. I mean, how important is that going to be?
Well, obviously, somebody said, I don't think it's necessarily the case that that banks are trying to get you to not go to the branches, right? They're trying to get you to use the phone. I think people are going to use the phone. I think the banks want to keep their branches because it's a way of branding them and so on. So I think that there's not quite the push, but nevertheless, you can see what's happening, that people are using their phones to do banking. People are using their phones to do everything. And so if they're not going into branches will close, people will be out of work. I mean, there's just less employment. And I think that is true, that there is going to be less employment in banks, going to be less employment in everything. That's the problem.
What does it mean for the economy?
So what are we going to do? What are human beings actually going to do is the question. I don't know.
Alan Kohler, thanks very much.